Can't afford a home? 3D print one. An entire neighbourhood in Texas is being 3D printed, and this robot is almost done building, or rather printing, 100 houses. Which leads me to this. Could 3D printed homes be the solution to Australia's housing crisis? Advancements in 3D printing technology means houses can be built faster, cheaper, and more sustainably. It almost feels like a copy-paste moment. Icon, which is the company behind this project in Texas, 3D printed a simulation of a Mars habitat for NASA, which a group of volunteers lived in for an entire year. And over in Dubai, the government announced a plan back in 2016 to see 25% of all buildings in the country to be 3D printed by 2030. I needed to get the lowdown on what it takes to 3D print a home, and I don't think I've ever been so excited to talk about concrete. So I spoke with Ali Kashani. He's a senior lecturer from the University of New South Wales and an expert in all things concrete and 3D printing. He explained how a concrete mixture is piped out by the printing machine to construct the walls of a home. But looking at how this is done, I wondered, what if it rains during that process?
So when it's raining, you cannot do 3D printing, so the project needs to stop. What you print is not protected.
So, is Australia looking at any major 3D printed projects soon? Well, it looks like plans are already underway. Just this week, the New South Wales government announced a 3D printed trial that will deliver social housing in Dubbo, a regional centre in New South Wales. The government said a project of this scale would take 40 weeks by traditional methods, but thanks to 3D printing, it's expected to be done in 16 weeks. The construction, or printing, is planned to start in late September and will be built to provide social housing for tenants through the New South Wales Government's Aboriginal Housing Office. I sat down with Brad Draper. He's the Managing Director at Aboriginal Sustainable Homes, an organisation that's working with the state government on this project.
I see this as a solution to the dramatic homelessness and housing crisis we have. It's the first social and affordable house to be 3D printed in Australia. We can get the shell of a house up within 24 to 72 hours. Now that's just the walls. Now obviously then you have to put your roof on the like as well. So 2 days, so that means we can do roughly 180 houses per year with one printer. Now if we were to scale that up to 100 printers or more, you're building 18,000 houses a year.
Draper said the construction industry needs to rethink its current strategies to address not just a housing supply shortage, but a skills shortage as well.
If we continue to do what we're doing at the moment and sticking with traditional builds of sticks and bricks, as I call it, then we're going to be held to ransom by the shortage of trades within Australia at the moment.
People and industries are starting to turn to 3D printing as a time and cost-efficient way of constructing homes. But there's also a sustainability aspect.
Being an Aboriginal company, the biggest problem we've had in Australia with our energy crisis has been coal-fired power stations. Now, those coal-fired power stations have left an environmental disaster around their areas, which is fly ash. The products that we're using is actually 50% fly ash and 50% concrete.
While concrete mixtures are a strong material to work with, the issue is that these materials emit large amounts of carbon. Kashani said that researchers are working to develop mixtures that include recycled materials without compromising the strength of the home.
Concrete is a very durable material in nature, and also it's more fire resistant compared to like wood-based products.
With less materials and less manual labour required for 3D printed houses, construction joins a growing list of industries adapting to developments in tech and automation. So what does that mean for the future of the building industry? The construction industry is currently facing a shortage of skilled labourers. According to the government's skills priority list, project builders and construction project managers are in short supply across every single state. So could 3D printing support this shortage in the construction industry? The Housing Industry Association is a national residential building body. I spoke to their chief executive, Simon Croft, about how the uptake in 3D printed houses might impact the industry. He told me that whilst these more innovative systems may offer some greater efficiencies, we don't see it replacing current jobs, but rather working alongside them. Croft said the association is broadly supportive of new and more innovative construction solutions. So where could 3D printing be heading next? Something that was brought up by all the different people I spoke to was prefabrication. I like to think of it as an IKEA flat pack. Prefabrication is building the parts of a home with a 3D printer in a warehouse. Those parts are then transported to the location and pieced together. Simon Croft from the Housing Industry Association described it as modular building elements, which could include things like roofs and stairs. In terms of what these houses look like, Ali Kashani from UNSW said that architects actually love 3D printing because it opens up new design possibilities. The curved walls of 3D printed homes can make them look quite high-end, which Brad Draper from Aboriginal Sustainable Homes said could soon become the norm. That's because this design feature is actually a byproduct of how the printing machinery works. This is only the beginning for 3D printing in construction. So what's next? 3D printed shopping centres, libraries, train stations, swimming pools? The world is our 3D printed oyster.